Good afternoon, everybody. Happy Wednesday, happy hump day. It's February 1st, brand new month. Gonna get started with the before market close video and ticker requests. If anybody does have any requests, please let me know. I may make this live stream public. Getting a few people confused after I make these live streams public, just for anybody who is tuning in after the fact. These are private for POW Group paid members. So if you are on YouTube listening to this and you're wondering why you didn't catch the live stream, that is because it wasn't actually a public live stream on YouTube. It was meant for POW Group private members. So if you're interested in getting this access to this, essentially it's going to be Monday to Friday. I do an update, a live stream about 30 minutes before the market closes. And in today's video, I'm probably going to be covering a lot of important things, especially with the FOMC and big tech earnings into tomorrow. Not feeling 100% today. Woke up with a little bit of a fever. And for anybody in the POW Group private community, I was a little bit late starting today, so apologies for the late start. I went and grabbed some cold and sinus pills and helps with fever, and also grabbed a bunch of CBD, some of the Redican raindrops to hopefully beat it. So going to get started with the market update. We'll jump into this, and then we'll look at some ticker requests on the day today. Obviously, we're seeing lots of bullish activity and green and upside after FOMC. So we were expecting 25 basis points, and that's exactly what we got. So the market was anticipating 25 basis points, and we didn't get any surprise, but there was some chop. Usually the move comes about 30 minutes after the rate decision. And we got that move. We got, like I said, quite a bit of chop, but obviously the market responding fairly well. But if we take a look at Bitcoin here on the weekly time frame, we know that weekly consolidation is due. We haven't consolidated on the weekly time frame now in 42 days, so 6 weeks. So we will expect weekly consolidation, if not this week, more than likely next week, but it's a weekly inside bar at the moment. So resistance at 23,966. If we break that, we continue the weekly bounce for the 7th week in a row. And if we lose support there at 22,326, then we start weekly consolidation, and we go to higher low compared to 16,273. So we get tons of room now for a weekly higher low to form on Bitcoin, and we could still see an EMA 12 and 26 bull cross as well, which means more upside from here. We do have next resistance at 25,214, 25,000 psychological. After that, nothing until about 32,383. So we will expect a pretty sizable pullback on Bitcoin. It's just when is the question, right? Are we going to continue to see this EMA 12 and 26 bull cross and continue to, get people to FOMO in? People are going to FOMO in more than likely over the next couple of weeks, and that's when we generally get extended to the upside. And then we get that inevitable pullback that we've been expecting, right? But in terms of bulls and bears on the list today, HP, Doge, and FLR leading the decline today on the bull list. We have LBC, Riot, and HUT. So library token seeing a monster and massive move off of the lows there. It was actually like a quadruple bottom. Actually, you could say all those touches, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So tons of support there off just under 1 penny. And here we are up about 260% off of the news that the SEC admitted in court to the judge that the library token itself is not the security. It was how it was packaged, how it was sold. And library, the company, obviously going bankrupt, and it is no more. But the library token continues to trade because it is not a security of library. It is code. It is a virtual, it's a token, right? So it's a virtual currency, just like, XRP. If Ripple, the company, were to go away tomorrow or today, XRP would continue to trade freely on the open market, right? And XRP was created before Ripple, the company. Imagine Apple stock being created before Apple, right? That just wouldn't exist, right? Or imagine Apple stock existing after Apple went bankrupt or ceased to exist, right? That just wouldn't happen. So with that being said, that's great for XRP because not so much, for Ripple. Ripple may have to pay a fine for early sales, right? They stopped programmatic sales to secondary markets in, I think, 2019. So they may have to pay a fine for early sales, from the first few years from inception. But that should just be, maybe it's $100 million fine, something like that. But not the end of the world. But so it might not be as positive for Ripple. We'll see what comes out of the case, but we are expecting a verdict here, some sort of judgment over the next couple of months. But realistically, this is good for XRP because if library itself is not deemed a security and secondary market sales are not deemed a security, then that's going to mean that XRP is likely in the free and clear as well. And I would argue that the XRP even is less, is even more favorable. And the judges, the the amount of money that Ripple has in the case. So I think that they have a lot bigger chance of coming out ahead. And then XRP, just the tokenomics and everything surrounding that, I think are just even better than the library case. So, or the library token. So if that means XRP itself isn't a security, which we all know that's ludicrous, it definitely isn't. Ripple could go away tomorrow and XRP would continue to trade. So if XRP is a commodity, a virtual currency, if it's not deemed a security, then that means that exchanges should be able to relist it. So we could potentially see a relisting as well at some point soon. So that'd be huge for XRP. Just look at the move on library after that news came out that it wasn't that the token itself wasn't a security. Just imagine if XRP got that clarity, that would easily be 2 to 3x, so 200-300% gains, in my opinion. So the S&P 500, taking a look at the weekly time frame, obviously breaking to a weekly higher high this week. If we take a look at the daily time frame, massive move and follow through. Daily uptrend very, very much intact. So we had the higher low, higher high, 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 higher low, higher high. Very, very strong uptrend. That's what we want to see versus a straight move up and then a straight move down, right? If we don't establish support along the way, then we usually waterfall back down. So this is an extremely strong weekly uptrend, daily uptrend at the moment. We're still in a weekly uptrend with the low, high, higher low, and higher high, higher low, and higher high. As long as 367.10 held, then the weekly uptrend remained intact, which it did, unless we confirmed a weekly downtrend, but we did not. And here we are breaking to a weekly higher high. So if we zoom out to the monthly time frame, when we're in a weekly uptrend or a daily uptrend, it means zoom out to the next higher level time frame. So if you're in a daily uptrend, that means zoom out to the weekly, and the weekly bounce is underway. If we're in a weekly uptrend, that means zoom out to the monthly and watch for the monthly bounce to get underway. What does a monthly bounce mean? It means we're breaking the high of the previous candle. Or what does a weekly bounce mean? It means we're breaking the high of the previous weekly candle, right? So just bouncing just means that we're breaking the high of the previous candle on whatever time frame that we're on. So if we take a look at the monthly time frame here, we could potentially see an inverse head and shoulders. I had someone in the POW Group private community today, private message me, you know who you are, asking how we are relative to the .com fractal. And for those of you that are just tuning in after the fact on YouTube, I've been charting this for a while now. Look at the similarities between the .com bubble and the everything bubble of 2022. So the RSI peaked in 96, and then the price peaked 4 years later in 2000. Then we went to monthly oversold. Then in this instance, RSI peaked in 2018. Then the price peaked 4 years later in 2022. And here we are potentially heading to monthly oversold. So I took that .com fractal here and put it here, the blue bars. And you can see here that we're starting to deviate away from it. And what I've been saying for a while now, that I wouldn't be surprised if we did deviate temporarily away from these fractals, but we've been following it pretty much verbatim over the last year or so, and we're finally starting to break away from that. And I think there's a possibility that we could continue to deviate. There's a possibility that we can continue to mirror it as well. And over the course of the next few months, in March, it's saying that we could potentially hit as low as 285, 280s on the S&P 500. But like I said, we are starting to deviate, and I wouldn't be surprised if we did continue to deviate because of the amount of manipulation and money printing that's going on in the market right now. Watch for the Pelosi bill. There's all these attempts to ban Congress from owning stocks. They banned Fed, so the Federal Reserve was banned from owning stocks back here at the all-time high. They definitely weren't banned here at the all-time low, right? Because we can't have unmanipulated markets. These people should be behind bars for what they're doing, but the markets are all manipulated, so we can't have we can't have fair and orderly markets like the SEC claims to strive to achieve. We need to have unfair and unorderly markets where people are doing inside trading. Anybody who's in the Federal Reserve, anybody who's crafting laws and legislation in Congress obviously should not be able to own stocks. A monkey could figure that out, but apparently these people are not doing anything wrong, and they're doing insider trading at the highest level, and they're still not behind bars. But if you or I were to do that, we'd be in jail for the rest of our lives, right? So this needs to happen, but unfortunately, it's probably going to take higher prices for them to ban themselves from owning stocks, right? Just because they're borderline crooks. So we'll watch for this deviation to occur, and then watch for that potentially to mark the top on this move where Congress gets banned from owning stocks. But anyway, I digress. I could go on about how much that makes my blood boil. And today, feeling a little bit of a fever, so blood is boiling a little bit more than normal. But we do have a potential for an inverse head and shoulders, so watch out for the stock market to potentially top out here, S&P 500. If we do top out and we start monthly consolidation, What does consolidation? Bounce means we're breaking the high of the previous candle. Consolidation means we're losing the low of the previous candle. So if we lose 377.83 on SPY, that's the most important level going forward for this month. If we lose that, we start monthly consolidation. And then as long as around 359 holds, we could see an inverse head and shoulders with the left shoulder, head, right shoulder. And if we do get monthly consolidation, that will give us the attempt to confirm the monthly uptrend as well. Anything under 428 is just a lower high on this bounce. So if we break 428 from here, we're no longer in a monthly downtrend, but as it sits right now, we're still in a monthly downtrend. We could still see an EMA 12 and 26 bear cross on the monthly time frame as well, which happened on Bitcoin, and it also happened on Tesla. So Bitcoin had its bear cross occur many months ago back in September, and Tesla, if we take a look at the monthly time frame, it's just seeing its bear cross now. But we know that Bitcoin and Tesla have been weaker than the broader market. So we'll see how things play out. But at the moment, it's looking like this could potentially go either way, right? It's about a 50-50 chance. If you're wondering, are we going to go to all-time highs from here? Well, it's just too early to tell. Are we going to go to new all-time highs? We're going to go close to all-time highs, or are we going to start monthly consolidation this month? I think that remains to be seen, and your guess is as good as anyone's, but we'll just continue to take it day by day. That's all charts are. It's not about predicting the future. It's just looking at the most likely scenario and the most probable outcome. And as of right now, I'd say it's about a 50-50 chance we're going to all-time highs, or a 50-50 other 50% chance that we're going down to follow this .com fractal. So it's all about 377.83 this month on SPY. If we lose that, we start monthly consolidation. And then, like I said, if we hold around 359, that could potentially be a right shoulder. And if we take the measured move from the low to the high and take the measured move of this inverse head and shoulders, that says we could target anywhere from 480 and beyond, which would put us at new all-time highs, right? The old previous all-time high there at 472. So it's entirely possible that happens. And that's what happened with Bitcoin as well. Hit a new all-time high, corrected, and then shot off to a new all-time high, barely though, broke all-time high by 6%, just under 6%, and then we saw a massive rollover effect, right? So SPY has consolidated quite a bit as well, though. If we take a look from the high to the low, down almost 26%. So high to the low, swing high to swing low. We are down about 26% on the S&P 500. That's a big amount. So we'll just continue to watch this, week by week, month by month. But as of right now, it's looking okay, right? It's looking like we could potentially see a bit more upside, especially if they start to turn more dovish and tame the interest rates. They said that today in the FOMC interest rate decision, it was 25 basis points that we were expecting, but they said that ongoing increases could occur. So I don't listen to what they say, I listen to what they do, and we've been seeing things trend in the right direction, right? They're going down from 50 to 25. Next time it could be 0, and that could absolutely explode markets, right? So what I'm looking for is this inverse head and shoulders, though, potentially, and we can't be too excited based on this move, because we still know that we're still in a monthly downtrend as long as we are below 428. If we break 428, we're no longer in a monthly downtrend. That's great. Win for the bulls, but we still haven't confirmed a monthly uptrend yet. This move's all coming off the lows. We still need the higher low and higher high on the monthly time frame to be confirmed out of the bear market and potentially heading to new all-time highs. Could we go straight to new all-time highs from here without changing the monthly trend? Yeah, that's possible, but that's not what technical analysis is about. It's not about predicting the future. It's about the most likely scenario, and that's not the most likely scenario, right? The dollar continuing its weakness as well. I've been saying for a while that it's likely targeting EMA 26 here on the monthly time frame, and here we are pretty close to it. So EMA 26 there at 100.79 and the low at 101.03. But we need to confirm a weekly uptrend to mark the monthly higher low on the dollar. So if the dollar confirms a weekly uptrend, that means that we could see a pretty big move on the monthly time frame, and that would be bearish because of that inverse correlation for stocks and crypto. So if we do see the DXY confirm a weekly uptrend, then that would be bad for the short term for SPY and the risk assets, right? But we could be heading to weekly oversold. That's why I said watch for weekly oversold to mark the bottom on the DXY, the temporary bottom, and then a pretty big move. At least I think about 5 to 10% on the dollar whenever we do hit weekly oversold, and watch for a potential flush of 100. We do have next support at 97.68, so maybe 97.98 would put us around weekly oversold. Here we are, very, very close to hitting it, as you can see. So if we do get down to that 97, 98 area, that would more than likely put us in that territory of oversold on the RSI, which is the relative strength index. And then, like I said, we would likely mark a temporary bottom and then see a relief rally, not meaning that the dollar is entering a new bull market, but, or going to, set a new 52-week high or anything like that. But would just mean that it would just be a temporary. We know nothing goes straight down in a straight line forever, nothing goes straight up in a straight line forever, right? So we'll be watching for a weekly uptrend and weekly oversold. So Tesla starting the monthly bounce, having broken last month's high, 180.68. We're now at 183.81. I mentioned this was a monster swing with the inverse head and shoulders on the daily time frame. The left shoulder, head, right shoulder, very similar to what SPY is doing on the monthly time frame, and that was targeting about 150, and then we had no resistance until 182.50. Look, here we are hitting that resistance, and like I said monster swing opportunity playing off 100 psychological, and now 80% of upside from there. And how was I so confident? Well, we had the monthly head and shoulders targeting 85, and we also had the 0.786 there at Fibonacci retracement there at 98.99. And Bitcoin did something very similar. Tesla holds a lot of Bitcoin on their balance sheet, very correlated. Anybody that tells you Bitcoin or crypto doesn't matter, they're completely out to lunch, and they have no idea what their you-know-what is from their you-know-what, because why would that make any sense if Tesla was holding it on their balance sheet? Anybody who's a Tesla bull and says that, or anybody who's invested in Tesla and doesn't think that Bitcoin matters for Tesla, well, take a look at their balance sheet, right? Give your head a shake. So taking a look at the individual movers and shakers on the day-to-day, Snap, VEGA, and WNW leading the decline. On the bull list, we have AMD, Coin, and SMG. We got Meta earnings today after the bell. Monthly bounce underway for the third month in a row. And still no monthly uptrend confirmed yet either. So just like SPY, we need to confirm that monthly uptrend with a higher low and higher high. Haven't gotten the higher low yet. We still have to lose the low of the previous monthly candle to start consolidation. Then that'll give us our higher low, change the weekly trend. That'll indicate that the monthly higher low is set. Then we'll look for the higher high to give us the monthly uptrend. Still in a monthly downtrend, breaking to a daily higher high. Extremely strong daily uptrend at the moment for Meta. Weekly uptrend. Very brief weekly bull flag here into a higher high. But I wouldn't be surprised if we had a bearish reaction actually to these earnings. Not really a name I track a whole lot, but could still see an EMA 12 and 26 bull cross, nowhere near weekly overbought. But yeah, hard to say on this one. Earnings estimates for today. Estimate is 2.259 in terms of EPS, and revenues forecasted at 31.551 billion. So we'll be watching that after hours today. Big tech earnings tomorrow. We got Amazon, Google, Apple. So now that we got the FOMC rate decision out of the way, it came in as expected, consensus at 25 basis points, and got Powell's speech out of the way. Market seems to like it for the most part. So now all eyes will be on big tech earnings leading into after hours today and after hours tomorrow. Taking a look at MJ, Canadian MJ, IMCC, High Tide, and Fire and Flower leading the decline today. On the bullish, we have Oxley, WIB, and DB. So Oxley reported earnings yesterday, continuing daily consolidation today for the second day in a row. And next support on deck is 147. Mentioned as well that Tilray could be a monster trade here. Actually, we're breaking the weekly inside bars bullish already. So we're breaking these bullish, but we're not seeing much follow through. So you could even set a stop buy. If price gets above, say, 340, buy it. And then from there, you have no resistance for about 52%, 52, 53%. So it could be a monster swing opportunity. And then put your stop below the low there at, say, 290. So you'd be risking roughly 13% to make upwards of 50% plus. So decent swing trade opportunity. Could even try to get it closer to here, right? Buy it closer to $3. And then you could have risked about 5-6% to make upwards of 50 to 60%, right? That's all technical analysis is, even close to 70% actually. Hexo, weekly inside bar. So if we lose 148, we start weekly consolidation, then we got a ton of room. We could drop from there. We could drop almost 40% and just be looking for a weekly higher low. So tons of room now for a higher low to form and a weekly uptrend to potentially confirm. So it's looking good. MSOS breaking to a daily higher high today, had multiple daily inside bars. So this is exactly what I was just talking about with Tilray. Tilray has multiple weekly inside bars that are breaking bullish. Sorry, that's not Tilray. Here we go. So those are breaking bullish, and then we're expecting upside, right? Because of that tightening range. And when it's on a weekly time frame, you can usually expect more of a move and percentage move, right? Daily time frame, double it, daily inside bars, and then look, if you entered on that bull break, that's almost 10% now of gains, right? So if this did 10% on a multiple daily inside bar bull break, imagine what it would do on a multiple weekly inside bar bull break. Probably, like I said, anywhere from 25 to 50% of upside versus 10% just on a daily multiple inside bar bull break. But with that being said, MSOS still very weak. USMJ still very weak comparative to the broader market, comparative to Canadian MJ as well. Why is that the case? I think it's because sector moves in tandem and it's just following each other, not down to the day, the second, the minute, but overall, the average MJ stock, regardless of Canadian or US or producer or retailer or ETF, all down around 70 to 90% plus. So the fact that US MJ held up better for longer, it's just following Canadian MJ's footsteps, and we're starting to see it catch up, and Canadian MJ bottom a little bit sooner because it pulled back faster and more, right? In terms of bulls and bears on the day today, we have EN, BMMJ, KG, and on the bull list we have FLGC, GRWG, and BEV. Jumping into some ticker requests, just checking in on the Power Group community here as well, see if there's any news developments. Nothing much. Like I said, in terms of earnings today, like I said, Meta, that's pretty much it for today after the bell. Tomorrow, nothing too noteworthy for the morning. And then, like I said, Amazon, Apple, Google, Ford after market tomorrow, after close tomorrow. And then Friday, pretty quiet. Let's see if there's anything else. So yeah, we had the Hexo vote election of directors. I made a joke. Chara gets so much hate, and he still wasn't the one with the most percentage of votes withheld. Surprisingly, it was Pete Montour, probably because of the ties to the Hells Angels. People who so gullible. All right, that's pretty much it. Gonna end it there. Oh, actually, forgot about the ticker request. I think we did have a couple ticker requests here. So HNU, take a look at HNU, no problem. So HNU on the TSX. So breaking to a weekly lower low, touching down on weekly oversold, just barely. No, not quite yet, but getting very, very close. No weekly resistance all the way up to 1379. And Rassert says, seems ripe for a swing trade. Absolutely, I would have to concur on that one. Like I said, if you know nothing about technical analysis and when to buy, when to sell, this isn't financial advice, by the way. This is entertainment purposes only. I'm not telling you to buy, sell, or hold. But as long as, if you know nothing about charts or technical analysis or investing or buying, when to buy, when to sell, if you only buy if you only sell when we're overbought and then only buy when we're oversold, you do better than like 99% of retail investors. But the media has a way to make you feel like everything's going to continue going up forever when we're overbought, and the media has a way of making you feel like everything's just the end of the world whenever we're oversold, right? So it's just going against that play of emotions, which the stock market is designed to make you feel. Stock market is a device for transferring wealth from the impatient to the patient, and buy when there's blood in the streets and sell when there's, greed, right? So it seems simple, but most people can't tune out mainstream media and, their friends and family and social media and things like that, right? They just follow the herd, right? It's like a lemming off a cliff. Sad as it is. But monthly time frame, breaking to a monthly lower low. And this thing could definitely explode. Not a natural gas expert by any means, but no monthly resistance all the way up to 42.60, which would put us at around 20x from here. So $1,000 into about $20,000 if we just get there. So, this is one of those names where you don't have to invest a lot of money to see a ton of gains, right? So I probably wouldn't put too much into this. Probably wouldn't put more than a few $1,000s, depending on your net worth. If you got a net worth of $1 billion, well, then you can maybe afford to put in a few more than $1,000. But if you got a net worth of, $100,000 or $50,000 or whatever it is, even if you have a net worth of, $500,000 or $1 million, I probably wouldn't put much more than a few $1,000s into this one. But yeah, in terms of the weekly time frame, tons of opportunity there. Still in a weekly downtrend though, still in a daily downtrend, monthly downtrend. So very, very bearish, but yeah, like you said, this could be ripe for a swing. Let's just zoom out. We're at all-time lows, so we have no support to go off of. So this is the typical falling knife adage. So that's why I would be very cautious on this one. But in terms of the weekly time frame, we have nothing nearby until the 10-week moving average there at 613, which also lines up fairly well with the 50-day moving average there at $7.79. So quite a bit of runway just until about $6-7. We are seeing a potential bull cross of the stochastic, and the MACD also not too far away from seeing a bull cross either. In terms of the weekly moving averages, we could see a bull cross of the 50 and the 100 and the 50 and the 200 weekly moving average. That would be extremely bullish. This is the weekly time frame, right? We had the bear cross back here. Not even enough data to go back off of, going back 5 years now. But yeah, when the longer term moving averages are above the shorter term and they cross, that's a bull cross. And when it's on the weekly time frame moving averages, it's even more bullish. So yeah, this, and then we have nothing nearby till 1622, which is the 100 weekly. But we did have a golden cross here with the 50, so that's what I'm talking about. When the shorter terms below the longer terms, and it's the daily time frame, not the weekly. The daily time frame, but the weekly, when you see a bull cross, usually the upside is even more. But on the daily time frame, when the 50 is below the 200 and the shorter term below the longer term, and they cross, that's called a golden cross. When that happened, the price was at around $8, and then it went all the way up to $29. Came down, we had a death cross, but ended up not really seeing much downside from there. But I mean, realistically, we went from about $30 all the way down to $7. Basically gave that whole move back, and then we saw another golden cross, and then another death cross, right? And it's probably going to be multiple weeks and months now before we see another golden cross. So if you are entering this one, patience will be a virtue. Patience will be key. But like I said, just be extremely cautious on this one. Like I said, no support levels to be going off of in terms of price action. So we'll just be looking at psychological levels from here. So around 175, 150. See if there's any other targets to be looking at. So it is a daily bear flag confirming. And if we take the measured move, it's saying that we could be targeting about 180, and we got as low as 191. So we could see, another 10 cents of downside from here just on the daily time frame, and then see if this daily RSI can start to climb out of oversold territory. All right, hopefully that helps. Going to end it there. Market's already closed, and SPY closed at 410.80. So I got over that resistance there at 408, closed above it, but a little bit of an upper wick. No major red flags on the weekly time frame. Next resistance. So we have no weekly or monthly resistance until 428. So again, that's why I think that we could start to deviate from this .com fractal, but again, just a little cautious because we still haven't confirmed the monthly uptrend yet, and we haven't consolidated on the monthly time frame now in a month, or sorry, in 4 months. I was thinking it was the weekly chart. So we will anticipate monthly consolidation, pretty sizable pullback, and if we do get monthly consolidation from current levels, that would pull us back about 8 to 10% on the S&P 500, and then if we look for an inverse head and shoulders to form, we could pull it back about 12-13%, but wouldn't want to pull back much more than that, or else we lose that, we negate that potential odds of that happening, right? The inverse head and shoulders. All right, going to end it there. Hope you have a fantastic night, and we'll see everybody, all the private PAL group members in the chat room in a few minutes. And we'll continue to check in on a day-to-day basis, week-to-week basis, and just take the data as it comes, and we'll continue to look at what the charts say and plan for all scenarios. Markets can go up, down, sideways. I've got a plan for all three. What's your plan? Go and end it there. Have a great night. Talk to you soon.